What else do we want other than another letting go video that makes letting go and living a surrendered life easier for you? So today what we will discuss is how to let go when it feels impossible on the inside. So, and this is this specific moment when you know that you're in deep resistance. You know that maybe you have, and this is the example that they'll give, maybe you get up in the morning and you don't want to get up, like you wake up and you don't want to get up from bed. Maybe you know you have to do something but you don't want to start doing the task. Maybe you know you want to ask this person out but you just wouldn't want to do it because all your mind is filled with negativity and like with expectations that you'll be rejected and so on and so forth. So these are the moments when we want to let go, but inside of us it feels impossible, right? So it's like almost as if there is a higher power other than our own awareness of being that makes it impossible for us to let go, even if we have the conscious intent to let go. Like the feeling inside of us is so stubborn, is so fixed, is so restricted, and like we are so attached to a point of view that we don't even know and we are not willing to investigate, that it feels impossible. So what do we do in moments like that? What is the like, because obviously you know that letting go works, you know that letting go allows you to release resistance and to put yourself in a neutral state of being from which you can then do whatever you want. Like you can follow your excitement, you can visualize, you can do whatever kind of practices you want, whatever kind of practices for manifestation you want, let's say affirmation, scripting, visualization, whatever it is. But if you're in a state of resistance, of deep resistance, in a state of deep resistance, and it feels impossible to let go, so that you want to reach that state of neutrality from which you can make practices, well, what do? Let me share with you a story, my friend. So it's actually the story of today, of this morning. So I woke up and I was like, I wanted to do scripting. This is something that I started doing recently. Before that I was doing a lot of affirmations and visualizations, but in the morning I decided I would want to do scripting. But I found myself that I was feeling really drowsy, really tired, even though it was the morning. And so I realized, okay, if I'm doing scripting from that state, it's like I since the feeling is the secret, obviously this won't work. Like scripting couldn't help me realize and manifest my dreams because I'm coming from a state of deep resistance. So I need to let go. And like before that, I did the scripting anyway because it's like I'm committed. I just wanted to commit to that practice. But afterwards, I was like, I was reading a little bit of Neville Goddard, and then like Neville Goddard is such an inspiration for helping you to let go, for allowing you, like a permission slip for allowing you to let go. And so after reading some of his words, and then there is this simple quote that I want us to contemplate together in this video, because once you realize the meaning behind this quote, it will make letting go so much easier in the moments when it feels impossible. But so it was exactly what I did. So I found myself, I was feeling resistant, and even though I had the conscious intent to let go, it didn't, like the letting go process didn't start. And so I was just grumpy, like this facial expression of I don't want to do anything. I don't want to let go, even though I want to. No, this has to pass. I have to change it. Oof. Right? Like this state. So how do you get beyond that state? Well, you need to, well, basically, what happens when you let go, since letting go, since surrender, this is your natural state. It is beyond identification with the mind. It is beyond identification with any thought patterns. Meaning that the state of surrender is your most natural state. It's the core of who you are, being just this unconditioned awareness of being, which is always present, by the way. It's always here. You cannot, like, no matter how you feel on the surface, this unconditioned presence awareness of being, it is always in the background. It is sustaining whatever state you have on the forefront, on the surface of your mind. So remembering that this is the case, then when it feels impossible to let go, what you need to do, it's like, and it's not something that you need to do. It's almost like a curiosity that you have, an inner curiosity. It's not like a chore that you need to do for you to put yourself in the surrender state. No, because you're already coming from that state of surrender. It's always on the background. So I use the word need, but I don't mean that you need to do that. It's something that happens automatically if you have that curiosity and this understanding for the quote that I'll read in a moment. But so you need to question who you are. Who am I? Who is that I that makes it feel impossible to let go? Who is the one that decides that I want to stay in the state of resistance? Who is the one that says that they want to let go, but obviously if I don't start letting go, then there must be somebody else within myself that is contradicting this intention, that is assuming the opposite of my intention to let go. So who am I? Who is this one? Who is the one who is in resistance? And then you just want to withdraw your awareness and pinpoint the one that is being in a resistance. And this is not of your doing. It happens automatically when you decide to open up, when you decide to be curious. So you're curious. I know I want to let go, but I know it feels impossible. So how so? How does it feel impossible? Who am I? Who is the one to whom it feels impossible? And then you inquire. This is my favorite practice, by the way. It's so deep. It doesn't have an end. Self-inquiry, inquire the nature of yourself. Because if we know from Neville Goddard, from David Hawkins, from like many of the teachers, many of the mystics, that ultimately who we are is pure, naked, unconditioned awareness of being. I am aware that I exist. This is who I am. This is my nature. It is beyond any appearance. It is beyond any circumstance. It is beyond any state. It includes inside of it all states. But ultimately, it's in my this is my nature. This is who I am. I am just a blank canvas. And there is nothing on that. So if I am that, I can always go back to it. If this is the nature of who I am, I can always go back to it. This is the only single thing that I can rely on. So who you are. When you feel in a state of resistance, ask yourself, who am I? Who is the one that feels resistant? Who is the one that doesn't want to let go? I don't need to let go ultimately, but I know it's like it serves me. It's for my greatest benefit and for others' greatest benefit. So who am I? Right? This is the practice, my friend. This is basically everything that you need to do. Because other than the one who has the conscious intent that they want to let go of, there is another one, which is like the ego. It's like this inner goblin that is you're not conscious of it. It's unconsciously running the show. And so you need to realize that there is somebody else on the inside to whom you're not conscious about, with whom you're not conscious. Like you don't know what they're doing. You don't know like what they want. And so you need to inquire within yourself, who is the one that makes me feel resistant? Obviously, there is somebody who makes me feel resistant, and I need to know who that is. So if I feel that I can't let go, but I want to let go, who is the one that feels that cannot let go? I can connect with them. It's me, but I have forgotten and I need to remember. That's why I inquire. Who am I? And here is the quote I wanted to contemplate with you. So here is what Neville states. This is basically, I've contemplated on this in another video on the channel, but I want to do it again on a specific part of this one chapter. Actually, it's from the book. Forgot which book was it. Oh, I think it was. It's your command. It's my command. I think it's something like that. And so this is the first, not the first, but the second or third chapter, which is before Abraham was. You can check it out if you want. So here is the quote. I am the eternal nothingness, containing within my formless self the capacity to be all things. I am that in which all my conceptions of myself live and move and have their being, and apart from which they are not. Meaning that if you find yourself in a state of resistance and consciously you want to let go, but subconsciously there is something that is holding on, right? So Since you're the eternal nothingness containing within its formless self the capacity to be all things, you're also that resistance. You cannot exclude it. You cannot say, no, I don't want to feel that way. No, obviously part of you wants to feel that way. That's why you feel that way, right? So because otherwise you wouldn't feel that way. You wouldn't feel in resistance if you didn't want to. Subconsciously, some part of you. So you need to inquire again, who is that one? Because I am that in which all my conceptions of myself live. This unconditioned presence, awareness of being as my nature, the core of who I am. From there, I am that in which all my conceptions of myself live and move and have their being. Meaning that this conception of myself that is in a state of resistance, that is holding on to some rigid, restricted, limited point of view that they don't want to let go of. They are like, this conception of yourself, it lives and it moves and it has its being on the nature, in the background of your unconditioned awareness of being, which is your formless self, and apart from which they are not. So this one, like the one who is in resistance, when it's hard for you to let go, the ones who is in resistance, it depends, it lives thanks to the formless self. So if you inquire, who am I that is being in resistance, and I say I want to let go of, but it feels impossible to do so. So who am I that feels I am in resistance? And you inquire deeply, honestly, curiously, innocently, like a child you don't know. And so you inquire, you want to understand, you want to know what is the answer. And so who am I? Who is the one that feels resistant? Try this with me now. This is the way in which you realize what is this point of view. And so back to the story. This is basically, again, the practice. But back to the story, I just want to share with you what happened by doing this in the morning. So I inquired within myself, and then I started exploring all these different sensations and feelings within my body. This is ultimately where letting go happens, inside of your body. And so then I pinpointed one, which is in the back of my waist, and it's like my first energy center, and so my second energy center. And so I asked it, okay, who are you? What do you seek? What do you want? You are here, you make me feel resistance. There is something that you want, that you believe it is working. What is it? What do you want? And so this one, based on some situations that happened with a specific person that I'm dating, and like we were having this beautiful talk last night, and based on some things that I assumed on this conversation, it made an assumption, like this part of me. It's actually this part of me which wants to like control, which wants to manipulate, which wants to force things in relationships, which never works, by the way. And so I inquired, who are you? What do you want? Like, why are you here? What do you seek? And so he told me, I seek validation. Okay, who are you? What do you believe about yourself? And so he told me again, it's like, this is again this unconscious part of me that was being in resistance. He told me, so I am afraid that I will never be enough for the woman I love. This is what he told. And I'm like, okay, but how do you know? Who are you? Who is your father? How would you know something like that? Who told you that? And so the inquiry continued. And by doing that, I started letting go. Automatically. It wasn't something that I did. It happened automatically by itself. And this is how it always happens. Whenever I find myself in a state of resistance and I try everything else I know and it doesn't work, the one thing that works is, like, there are two things actually that work all the time for me and for many of the people I worked with personally and they share these practices with. So the first one is just not thinking at all and only feeling, only experiencing purely the energy behind the sensations that are stuck, like this stuckness in your body, this resistance, this heaviness that you feel somewhere. So you just feel, you just stay there, and you're looking at that resistance through a magnifying glass. You want to zoom in and look at it closely, and you just be there and feel it. This is the one thing that always works. The second one is a more contemplative approach. It's basically the same, but it's asking again. This is basically what I explained in this video. Who am I? Who is the one that is in resistance? And knowing that my nature is unconditioned awareness of being, And if you go really deep in meditation and explore for like 3 hours, for example, I did that on a couple of times, cases, like really deep meditations, you want to crystallize, you want to see, you want to check if this is true, because you read it, but is it true for you? You wouldn't know if you don't try. So try it. I challenge you again. It's like, investigate. Who are you? If you let go of everything, what remains? The unconditioned awareness of your being. But you wouldn't know that unless you experience it. And having that experience, it creates a memory. And then you can trigger that memory anytime you feel resistance. And then it's like, okay, I know that my nature is presence awareness, unconditioned awareness of being, naked, pure. Nothing is there. It's not attached to anything. It's pure. It's empty. It's space. It's free. It is love. There is nothing else. It's the love that makes everything else appear. So I know that this nature is my nature. My, like, me and my father are one, but my father is greater than me. This is like some quote that Neville contemplates a lot on in his books. So you know that you're the I and the Father in heaven, this is you. And so but the Father is greater than you. This Father is your consciousness, this unconditioned awareness of being. So it's always there, it's always on the background. And then you, by questioning, inquiring, who am I? Who am I? Who feels in resistance? Who says they want to let go, but they don't? I cannot be both of these things, or can I? Who am I? Who is the one that says that they want to let go, and who is the one who doesn't do it? Like, is just doesn't want to be vulnerable. Who is the one that is in resistance? And then you question, inquire. And this, my friend, this is the second. Like, these two practices, they always work. They always work. If nothing else works and you find yourself in resistance and you want to let go, this is what will work always. So make them yours. Take them by heart. Like, put them in your heart and always use them whenever you want, because they will support you so much in your life. I can't tell you how much they will support you. Anyways, this was everything I wanted to share in this video. And oh yeah, just to finish the story. So by contemplating a little bit deeper this morning, I just eventually surrendered like this portion of the resistance of this belief that was triggered. This is a belief I know about myself for a while, and I've been working for a while with. But it's like, again, it's like I just did some more shadow work and releasing it. And so this is how it works. Like, the more I let go of that belief, the less influence it has on me. This is how it works. This is what shadow work is. This is what I do with the people I work with personally. So by the way, if you need help with that personally, you can check out the free training below, the 3 phases you go through. Like, everybody goes through, everybody who is on the self-awareness path, everybody goes through these 3 phases that they talk about in the training. The 3 phases that you go through until you surround yourself only by conscious, uplifting, and meaningful relationships, which makes you so much closer, like, and it makes it so easy for you to attract somebody with whom you would want a long-term relationship. So if this is something that you find interesting, you can check it out, this training. And after it, you can schedule a call in which we can connect and like investigate beliefs together, talk about relationships, just connect, see how we can be useful to one another. And maybe if you're new to the inner work, like to doing this inner work, and you want to surround yourself with only like your high vibe tribe, only people who support and lift you up, this is something that is important for you, then I can share with you about my 3 to 4 month coaching program called the Soulful Relationships Experience. It's such a beautiful experience, and like completely transforms your social circles and like generally your relationships. Like, makes you be surrounded by only people who love you and like support you, and they're there for you, and so beautiful. So if you need my support with that, you can check out the training and then schedule a discovery call where we can connect. That being the case, my friend, thank you so much for watching. Hope you found this video to be useful. If this is the case, like it, comment down below. Let me know what is your experience with letting go. What is your biggest blockage? What makes it hardest for you? Let me know what other questions you have about letting go. It can give me like ideas for future videos that I could make. And generally, if there is something you want to share it in the comments. I would love to converse with you. And if you're new to the channel, to the Soulful Relationships channel, subscribe to it, because in this channel, we'll be talking about letting go, about soulful relationships, about conscious uplifting relationships, about law of assumption, Neville Goddard, David Hawkins, letting go. This is so, it's like it totally changed my life and continues to do so. This is the practice that I always rely on, letting go. So yeah, if this is something that also resonates with you, subscribe to the channel and I would love to see you around. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video, my friend. Bye bye for now. I love you.